Hello, friends. How are you all? Okay, so we are going to start a chapter from NCERT book and class 7, and the name of the chapter you can see on your screens, that is quality. So first of all, we must read the introduction of the chapter. Can a shoemaker be called an artist? So this question is for you all. Okay, the students who are studying in this class, you all have to answer this question to yourselves. Yes, if he has the same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist, and the same respect for it too. Mr. Gessler, a German shoemaker settled in London, is a perfect artist. So now we have been told about the main character of this story, and he is Mr. Gessler. Read this story to see how he devotes his life to his art. Okay, so shoemaking is an art for him. And how is it so? Why the writer is calling it an art? Let's see and find out. So the name of the chapter is Quality. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boots. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers, and in the window a few pairs of boots. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. So now you will see, like, in which conditions the man is running his shop. So how the writer is familiar with that shoemaker? Because he used to make boots for his father. From the days of my extreme youth. Extreme youth here means when he was a child. He was not even young, like he was too young. Extreme youth. Because he made my father's boots. And he lived with whom? He lived with his elder brother in the same shop, which was in a small by street. They were not very rich, so that they could have a big showroom or shop on the main road of London. So they had a shop in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. So this shop was not an ordinary shop. There was no pomp and show there. There was nothing noisy there. It was very quiet place. And there was no sign of advertisement even. Only a board with their names, like Distler Brothers, was there, and you could see some pairs of boots from outside. He made only what was ordered. He was not the kind of he did not have the kind of shops, or he was not a very big brand, so that he could keep so many workers who would work for him and who would make so many pairs of shoes, and he will store them and keep them for the customers. He used to make shoes only when it was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. He used to make shoes with such perfection that they would never fail to fit. To make boots, so now the writer says that the kind of boots that man made, it was, out of imagination, out of this world. It was always mysterious and wonderful for the writer. to see how well they made boots. I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot. "Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Jessler?" And his answer, given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, "It is an art." You can see here it's D. However, we because he is a German, you can see here also it is an art said with a German accent because he is not an Englishman, so he cannot speak as flawless as English people do. So he speaks with a German accent, and this is the effect of his mother tongue, which comes like this. So he calls t, d. It is an art. Okay, so the writer remembers one incident when he was there for ordering some pairs of shoes. He was giving the measurement of his foot. He just asked that it must be very hard to do, like it must be very hard to make boots. But can you imagine how he would have, like it is given here, the shoemaker says that it is an art. It was a simple and short reply, and from that reply you can understand how he takes his work. It is not work for him, it is an art. And what is art? Anything which you do with love, with your energy on the fullest. So it is not a work for him, it is not a job for him, it is an art for him. So he feels very good when he makes boots. So it is not at all hard for him. It was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly, having something beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. So the writer did not get much occasions to go to him. Why? Because the boots which he took from him, the boots which that German bootmaker made, were so strong and so well made that they lasted too long, and he did not need to go to him often. One went in, not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church, and sitting on the single wooden chair waited, a guttural sound, and the tip-tap of his slippers, beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, little bent in leather apron, with sleeves turned back, blinking, as if awakened from some dream of boots. See, here you will love to see that the writer is comparing that shop, that shoe shop or boot shop, with a temple, like church is temple for them. So he is comparing these two things. Can you even imagine? No, we can't. Why? Because his dedication towards his work was no less than worshipping God. So it had, but restfully. So like the people who came in, the customers who went there to order for shoes, they also entered like a church. They also used to enter the shop as if they were entering a church, and sitting on the single wooden chair waited. Like no one wanted to make noise there. Anyone who went in, they just went and sat there waiting for the man. A guttural sound and the tip-tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs. Like in the shoe shops or slippers or sandals, whenever we go to buy, we always see that there is a wooden stair inside the shop, and people go up and then down. So they are also using the same stair. He would stand before one without coat, and in a few seconds he would come from there, and he would just stand before the customer, a little bent. He is not too old, but he is bent because he's poor. He does not eat well, so he is weak. In leather apron, he is without coat. It is remarkable here. He is so poor that does not even have a coat. In that chilly weather, with sleeves turned back, blinking, as if awakened from some dream of boots. So, from this line, we understand that the man thinks of nothing but the boots. He lives in the world of boots. He lives in the world of leather. He thinks of that only. Okay, so the video will become very long, so I cannot do that, and I'll complete the chapter in 2 or 3 videos. So rest of the chapter we will discuss in next video. Goodbye.